J.J. McCarthy picked a bad time to have a torn meniscus last year, right before the start of the season, after a preseason game out of which you and I, Chris, both believed he had a chance to be the week 1 starter. He was checking the boxes. He was passing the eyeball test that we always apply to rookie quarterbacks. Do they look like they can play the part? Do they look right in the uniform? One of the ultimate transformations, Mac Jones, where he went from looking like a sack of potatoes to Superman between Alabama and New England. Not that that worked out, but it did for a while. So, J.J. McCarthy, ready to be QB1. Here he is talking about whether he believes he's ready to go and also addressing the pressure he'll be under as the guy in the Minnesota offense.
I know I'm ready to start. I appreciate that question, Kevin, because all the work I put in and just the confidence in my skills and abilities and just being able to do my job and simplify things to, the best of my ability every single day and, just take it one day at a time, one play at a time. And, I have a tremendous coaching staff, a tremendous group of guys around me that I can lean on, and they can lean on me. Personally, I think the more pressure, the better for me because, that's something I thrive off of. And, they always say the cliche, pressure is a privilege, but that's something that you sign up for when you play in the National Football League, especially at the quarterback position. And, I feel like pressure, all it does is just bring out what's inside of you. And, I feel pretty good about what's inside of me.
Well, look, there's less pressure now that it appears inevitable that Aaron Rodgers will be signing with the Steelers and not waiting to see whether or not the pressure causes a pratfall for J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
So there won't be that looming possibility. And they acquired a backup in Sam Howell via trade with the Seahawks over the weekend. That doesn't bring the same,
right.
Oh, you better watch out, JJ.
Yeah.
Or we're going to go with the guy that led the league in interceptions 2 years ago.
yeah.
Right? So that's the kind of backup they needed. Somebody who can play if JJ McCarthy gets injured, but not somebody who's going to be hovering
right
and adding to that pressure. They want to give him a full and fair opportunity to become the guy. And if it doesn't work, they're not going to try to deal with it as aggressively as they would during the season. This is more of a let's figure out what we're going to do in 2026. So they're giving him his year to be the guy, which makes sense. He was a 10th overall pick in the freaking draft.
That's right. I respect it. I respect that they're staying with their evaluation and what they wanted to do to improve their football team a year ago. Yeah, things changed, like you talked about, the knee injury, all that Aaron Rodgers, where their team is at. So they tinkered with a few ideas to make their team a little bit better, right? That's what they did. They went, wait, J.J. McCarthy, I'm not sure. We're really good. We have a good plan here for the offseason. Is he going to be able to get the utmost out of our football team here, which we think can make a Super Bowl type of run? And by all due accounts, by the way they played last year and what they've done to their football team right now, draft, off-season free agency, they're better. They're there. So I understand them flirting with the Aaron Rodgers thing here. But, yeah, now it seems like, okay, let's full go J.J. McCarthy. And I think you're right in the fact that he looked like he was going to be the day one starter last year and go in that trajectory. He's got a ton of talent around him. He's got a great offensive line. I mean, it's as good as it's ever been up there in Minnesota. Again, we knew the tackles were good, but now they've addressed the interior part of the O-line. You talk about an offense that fits a player and why they drafted him and why they liked him, because the one thing when you watched at Michigan was a whole lot of these type of throws right here. 15-yard crossers, 20-yard crossers, 20-yard out route, right? Little flag route for a 25, 30-yard gain. He's really good in that department. And hopefully he continues to answer their questions, right? Because I think between the team, Aaron Rodgers, and some of the things I think we both heard about being concerned about his health, his weight, and all of that, I think that might have led them down the road of like, wait, we're kind of good. Should we call Aaron Rodgers and deal with that a little bit? And obviously that hasn't happened here, and now we're all in on J.J. McCarthy, who looks good and looks like he's got some muscle on him right now from what we saw there.
You've got unproven guy
that
you made the 10th overall pick in the draft. You've got Aaron Rodgers, a walk through the door upper room Hall of Famer who's available and was apparently interested enough to talk to his old friend, as Rodgers explained it a couple of weeks ago, Kevin O'Connell.
Yep.
I can understand the temptation to try to have a repeat of the magical Brett Favre year, not the one that stunk in 2010, but the good one in 2009. I could understand that. But you've got this guy that could be your first true long-term franchise quarterback since Fran Tarkenton. The closest thing they've had to that was Dante Culpepper, who had an MVP level season in 2004. The only problem is Peyton Manning's was a level higher. And until he suffered a torn ligament trifecta in Carolina in October of 2005, it looked like Dante Culpepper was going to be the guy for a decade or longer in Minnesota. They haven't had anyone close to that since Culpepper, and really no one that's been year after year after year. We've got a guy that's going to keep us at high level contention since Fran Tarkenton. So that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And they could have had Bo Nix. And, you know, Sean Payton kind of did that mini victory lap last year where he kind of put the Jedi mind trick on the Vikings to make them think he wanted McCarthy, but he really wanted Nix. And it just adds pressure to McCarthy because, hey, it worked out. The Broncos got the right guy in Nix. And let's see if the Vikings got the right guy in McCarthy. Maybe they both win, or it ends up being a win-lose.
Well, yeah. It's like you talked about.
There's more pressure on the team right now than McCarthy. I know there's pressure on McCarthy, obviously, but I feel like there's more pressure on the team, especially because, number one, they picked McCarthy over Nix, and now they're picking McCarthy over Rodgers.
Right. And now the team's got to prove that that was the right pick. And, of course, he's going to have to do that too. And to your point that you've made so many times during the offseason is, like, can all 6 of these guys really work from last year's draft? Like, by all due accounts, the percentages would say somebody's got to fail. And as it looked like last year, none of those 5 that played last year look like they're going to fail. But I wouldn't bet on J.J. McCarthy to fail either. That's why it was a special class. It wasn't a class last year of like, oh, he's got a big arm, but he can't read a defense. Or he's really fast, but he doesn't have great accuracy. It was literally like, wait, every guy is pretty damn good at everything you want at quarterback, let alone you go, whoa, he can run, and whoa, his arm is powerful. So you do the quarterback stuff, and then the physical attributes match up with that. That's where we got specialness right now. And J.J. McCarthy, I think, is going to fit into that mold there. I mean, again, they got Sam Howell, like you talked about. I think he's the perfect backup here for this situation because, yes, he doesn't hover, he doesn't threaten, but he's got a big enough arm and can make enough throws in practice where people are going to be like, ooh, nice throw, Sam Howell there. And JJ's going to be like, oh, I don't like that. I'm going to show him right here, right? So that's going to be the perfect little touch to just put the poker on the butt, as we talk about every now and then. But also, hey, one of the reasons I got to think they liked him, and a lot of people liked him, yeah, he's going to be a rookie by all due accounts this year, but he's pro-ready. He played professional football at Michigan. You don't get to play more pro football at quarterback than what you did at Michigan and how those games were managed. He knows how to take care of the ball. He understands situational football. So because of all that, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a pretty mature brand of football from this young quarterback at J.J. McCarthy. And again, with the talent you guys got on that side of the ball, he shouldn't have to feel like he's got to carry the burden or the weight of the world on his shoulders because he's got some people to help him there.
Whenever somebody talks about someone failing, because you mentioned that
a
little while ago, for whatever reason now, I've got this strange mental connection that takes me to a scene from one of the middle seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David is starring in The Producers on Broadway with David Schwimmer from Friends.
Right.
And right before opening night, he runs into a character played by Stephen Colbert, now of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he pisses the guy off. And that causes Stephen Colbert to say, "You will fail." So anytime anybody talks about someone failing now, I think of that. Not that we're rooting for anyone to fail. That's just what I think of. That was a long walk to be able to do this. I just felt like
apparently.
Anyway, with my Smeagol fingers.
Yeah,
You
they do look
will
Smeagol-ish on Zoom there.
fail.
Yeah.
Especially on this.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.